4.5 billion years ago, Earth was struck by another planet in a collision that created the Moon. But what if another planet struck us today?
You've got ring particles showering down over the entire planet. That's a disaster in and of itself, let alone everything else that's coming.
It would be like a rainstorm. But now imagine that each raindrop is a meteor. Solar systems are not static, and so over time, a planet can get kicked out due to the gravitational tug-of-war from other planets wandering the cosmos without any home star anymore, and that's what makes it rogue. There are maybe twice as many rogue planets wandering between the stars of the Milky Way than there are actual stars in the Milky Way itself.
But another collision between a rogue planet and Earth, like the one over 4 billion years ago, can have only one possible outcome for humanity.
Serious, serious disaster. That rogue planet is approaching us, but its gravity arrives first.
Coming in at 72,000 miles an hour, the rogue planet is now 250,000 miles away. Its intense gravitational pull has just ripped the Moon apart. People from China to South America run for safety to basements, bunkers, and old bomb shelters, stockpiling as much food and water as possible. Then, in an instant, TV sets all over the world go black. The rogue planet is now so close, its gravitational pull has thrown communication satellites into disarray. GPS satellites have also been hurled out of orbit. Having disrupted satellites, the rogue planet starts to make the Earth shake.
Gravitational forces are pulling on the rock of the Earth and are causing tectonic activity.
The earthquakes start small, and they start subtly.
In San Francisco, windows rattle and tall buildings sway. Tremors roll through Los Angeles. Quakes also rumble through the country, from Denver to Boston and across the Atlantic to the streets of Rome. As the Earth shakes, another threat arises. The rogue planet's rings, made of billions of pieces of ice and rock, are about to strike the Earth. In their direct path, hundreds of millions of people across the continents of Europe and Asia. Shanghai, pulled by the rogue planet's gravity, the Huangpu River has surged over its banks. The floodwaters tremble as earthquakes shake the city. Emergency crews struggle to help. Then, above the city, in a sudden silent explosion, the black of night turns to day. The rogue planet's rings have hit the atmosphere. Air friction makes the particles explode into flame. It's what happens when any asteroid or meteor enters our atmosphere. But now, there are hundreds of millions of them.
You'd see a tiny dot in the sky that grows in brightness in less than a second to the point that it's overwhelmingly blinding.
Millions try to flee the rain of fire and terror from the sky. The mass murder of planet Earth has begun.
It would be like a literal rainstorm. You would have that many things coming in. But now imagine that each raindrop is a meteor. If you're within even 100 miles, you'll get burns. Then the shock wave hits, a pressure wave that would shatter windows and knock over cars. And that's only one fragment.
And all the while, as the rogue planet gets closer, the winds get stronger and the Earth keeps shaking.
So as we're going through the ring plane, All of this is taking place in the background of a steadily mounting earthquake.
So it's not the same as what you see in Hollywood. It's actually much more devastating.
The rogue planet is now less than 30,000 miles away. So close that its immense gravitational force is placing an impossible pressure on the very structure of our planet.
The amazing amount of gravity pulls on the rock, and that causes an astonishing amount of friction and heat, and that in turn creates volcanoes.
There are more than 1,500 volcanoes on Earth. Now, from Washington State's Mount St. Helens to Mount Shasta in California to Pele in Martinique and Mount Fuji in Japan, volcanoes don't just erupt, they burst apart.